Hello, welcome to Quackalope, and today we are teaching you how to play Root the Underworld expansion, both the Underground Duchy and the Corvid Conspiracy. The video that you're watching here is going to cover the Underground Duchy. We'll have a separate video covering the Corvid Conspiracy, and then we are just about to film a lakeside map battle actual gameplay with both of these included. So if you really want to see these factions up and running, we're going to have that video available to you. It'll be linked down in the comment section down below. So swing over there and watch me destroy Matt with some sneaky crows.
That's not how it's going to play out.
Well, we'll see. We will see. Whatever the case, this video is really a get up and running as quickly as you can with these factions.
Right.
We're designing it around people who are familiar with Root. We're not going over key terms. We're not going over like core game principles. We're just going over these factions, how they play, what their board says, and how you can get them to the table as efficiently as possible.
Yep.
So start with an overview of the Duchy. Who are you playing and what are they?
This is the Underground Duchy, and they are a bunch of royal moles.
There we are. That sums it up. We're going to go ahead and go directly to components.
Okay.
What is the stuff that's in front of you?
All right, so I've got 20 mole warriors. I've already placed some of them out on the board. Mm-hmm. I've also got 3 citadel tokens. I should call them 3 citadel buildings since they're square. 3 markets, same thing, and 3 tunnels.
Okay.
I also have 9 of these wooden crowns. I also have these 9 cards for my ministers that I'll be recruiting throughout the game.
Okay, and then you have your main player board just like any other faction, and you have the burrow,
Correct.
which is a adjacent clearing that is next to any of your tunnels.
Right.
All right.
That only I can access, and I always have rule.
That only you can access, and you always have rule. Let's swing through the key terms of the Underground Duchy. Up there across the top, what are the traits that are specific to your faction, and how do they work in this game?
Well, we've already touched on one,
Yep.
and that is the burrow. It's adjacent to each clearing with a tunnel. The price of failure. Whenever any number of duchy buildings are removed, return your swayed minister of the highest rank to your unswayed minister's pile, remove its crown from the game, and discard a random card. Okay. So it's a bad thing for me if you ever destroy one of my citadels or markets.
You're going to be recruiting ministers,
Yep.
which are player powers throughout the course of the game. They each get a crown when you recruit them. There's 3 different levels. There's squires, nobles, and lords. Basically what that's saying is if we, other players, destroy any of your buildings,
Right.
your highest ranking crown or your highest ranking recruited minister will leave the game.
Well, the crown will leave the game. And I only have these 9 crowns. However, the cards that represent the ministers, the unswayed ministers, will go back into my hand.
Yep.
So I could potentially get that same minister out if I have the crowns to allow it.
Yep.
And we'll get into that mechanic here in a moment.
So let's go ahead and touch on the setup of the moles. How do you actually start out the campaign?
All right, so it says, the instructions say that you're going to set up in the opposite corner of the keep. So if the keep is not in play,
Yep.
then you can go into whatever corner you want. Or, and it doesn't actually say this, but the lizards do, so I assume it's similar. If the keep is in play and the Eyrie is in play, which also must be in the corner opposite of the keep, again, I think it's going to be whichever corner you choose, whichever the remaining corners.
The two that are
the
left.
2 remaining.
Yep, that makes sense.
And then after you've done that, you place a tunnel in that corner and 2 warriors, and then you place 2 warriors in each adjacent clearing.
So that's the setup.
That's the setup.
Let's go ahead and swing into the main board and take a look at that.
Okay. So birdsong. First thing I do is you place 1 warrior into the burrow, plus an additional warrior for every warrior symbol showing a mole that you have showing. And you get those by building citadels. So if I had all 3 citadels built, I would put my initial 1 mole into the burrow, plus an additional 5.
Yeah, so you could get up to 6 that are spawning at the start of every
Correct.
round.
Correct.
So that's your birdsong.
Yep.
And daylight.
Daylight, I can take up to 2 free actions.
Okay.
So I can build, and that's a normal build action that people are familiar with. However,
Sure.
the items I use to build are going to be my citadels and markets. So again, buildings. And they've got to correspond, wherever they are on the clearing, that has to correspond to whatever it is I'm building.
Yep.
Recruit, place 1 warrior in the burrow.
Okay.
That's a standard thing. Battle, everyone knows there's no difference to the battle for the moles. Move, same thing, we all know that. Dig, this is one of my favorites. This is where you spend a card. Now, a lot of the actions for the moles are you reveal a card. So that's the same for the build. If I just have to reveal the rabbit clearing to build there. However, if I spend, for example, a fox card, I can place a tunnel in a fox clearing and then move up to 4 warriors from the burrow into that clearing. So I can just pop up and grab you.
Then a tree tilts over to the side, a bird crows just a little bit, and then a hole appears.
Yeah.
Nice. And then what are the second and third phases?
Okay. So the second part of Daylight, you may use the action of each swayed minister once.
Okay.
For that to make sense, I think we have to go to the third action.
It's true. You need to sway them before you can use them.
Third action. Once per turn, you may reveal cards to sway a minister. You may only reveal cards matching clearings with any duchy pieces, 1 card per clearing. So, for example, if I had 2 rabbit clearings, 2 bunny clearings, I could reveal both of them, and then I could recruit a squire, because you have to reveal 2 of the bunny clearings to get a level 1 squire. The way that would work is I'd put my card out there in front and put the crown right on the card. That says this one has been swayed. Now, going back to my second step, after I've recruited him, we're going through another Daylight. You may take the action of each swayed minister once. So this just lets me take an extra move. So I've got other ministers that might let me initiate a battle. Or, moving down, I could have, for example, the Brigadier. This is, I have to reveal 3 cards to get to one of the nobles. The Brigadier would let me take up to 2 moves or initiate up to 2 battles. And then the most powerful, the highest ranking, are the Lords. So if I was to reveal 4 cards, I could recruit a Lord to get the Baron of Dirt. And then that means each Daylight, I can score 1 victory point per market on the map.
Yep.
So if I had 3 markets out there and that guy was in play, that's 3 points every round.
Your recruitable moles or your ministers are just extra actions that you can take throughout the course of the game. And each one, there's some variability in terms of like which ones you want to select and put out there, but they become your engine in a way. And they also are your vulnerability. If you get them out there, but you can't protect the buildings that you have, your empire will start crumbling, they'll start abandoning you.
Right.
And you'll have less people to use.
Yep.
Now moving down to evening, after you've used your minister's actions.
So I can use bird cards when I reveal.
Okay.
So I could reveal 2 bird cards and a bunny card to get my first clearing. Right? But then after I've done that, I have to discard any of the bird cards I revealed. So those go away into the discard pile. I get to keep my other cards. That's step 1. Second, craft. And I craft using citadels and markets.
Yep.
I think I'd mentioned that earlier. So if I've got them in the bunny clearings, I can just craft that way. And then I get to draw 1 card plus a card for each bonus card symbol showing. That is, I get those bonus cards by building markets. Every market I build lets me draw an extra card.
So you could have up to 4 coming into your hand.
I could have up to 4 cards coming into my hand at the end of the round.
And then you're discarding down to 5, just like I believe all the factions in the game.
Got to discard down to 5. That's correct.
That's it. Sort of how the faction runs. You've had the chance to play through it a few times now. What is your sense in terms of the strategy, how to get this engine up and running for anyone that wants to beat their friends the first time they're playing this game?
Well, I haven't beaten anyone with this game the first time yet. But I think the strategy is really you got to get those ministers up and running because that's the powerhouse to give you additional moves. Without that, you only have
every turn.
Having just 2 actions, having just those 2 free actions during your Daylight phase is a killer. You're not going to get much done with that. But with each additional minister that you put on the board, you're going to be able to do just that much more.
Well, and potentially strategically using things like dig, which allow you to get into a clearing that you across the map, could help you unlock some of your higher level ministers. So leveraging those abilities to get more ministers out is going to be kind of the focus of the early game.
And I've never seen anyone win with a dominance card before. However, I feel like the moles might be a faction that could
be a
do
contender.
it. Yeah, they can pop up somewhere and put 4 warriors out right away, and if they're positioning themselves just right and thinking about it all along, I could see them being a contender for a dominance win.
Now, is there anything that was initially confusing when it comes to running the moles? Anything that you kind of missed to start with?
Just the strategy for getting out the ministers and doing it in the best way possible. Also, I think that the cards that I had coming in weren't really allowing me to reveal as many, but I do think you have to have a plan when you go out there. You want to make sure that you're placing your moles in the clearings where you're going to be able to reveal those cards and start swaying ministers.
Sure. So that is a quick run-through of how you play the Underground Duchy. Like I said at the beginning, this is our attempt to get you to the table as quickly as possible. There's a lot of stuff we sort of brushed over. If you have any specific questions with how these guys interact with the main board, feel free to leave a comment down below asking. Either us or someone from Leader Games will pop in to make sure we respond as thoroughly and accurately as possible. Hopefully you all are getting this game to the table sometime over the next few weeks. It is arriving to backers' doors, I think, now. So we've really enjoyed it. This is probably one of our favorite expansions. Hopefully you all feel the same. Thank you for joining us. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We put out new videos every single week, gameplay reviews, how to plays, and if you enjoy Root, make sure you swing over to our gameplay. We are just about to get started here on the lakeside. It's going to be a lot of fun when I win.
When I win.
When I win.
It's probably going to be William.
William's probably going to end up winning. He's not on camera with us right now. Whatever the case, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Get out and play some games. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Thank you.